Good afternoon, Scott here, known as Cantaloupe to some online, and I'm bringing a video to you on a subject that's interesting to me. It might be of interest to you or someone you know, and I want to react to a post by Gavin Newsom, California Governor Gavin Newsom. Recently he reiterated that the state's position on Roe versus Wade is that every woman of unquestionable origin or orientation shall have full access to Planned Parenthood and shall retain her reproductive rights in full. He wanted to just remind the people that in spite of changes to federal regulations concerning Roe versus Wade and its overturning, that in California, the law of the land is that reproductive rights shall continue to be preserved and protected for women. Now, here's the thing. I want to react to this because I'm perceiving that there's a question here. I'm perceiving that there's an actual question in that the same problem exists that has always existed for the question of legality of abortion. And there's actually a very concise, very simple, very appropriate answer that addresses everybody's position on this. Now, there's people who are pro-life and pro-choice. I'm just going to answer this once and for all. Pro-life and pro-choice, as if there's one correct answer. So here's the thing. All life is sacred, I'll give you that, unless and until it costs something of the existing life in a substantial amount. Let me rephrase that. So in nature, in the proverbial jungle that I mentioned many times, there are situations where a family or a mother and her children will be living on the edge of poverty, so to speak. At which time, if she gets pregnant, there are some very unpleasant and unfortunate eventualities which play out in nature, and you can observe this in the animal kingdom and with humans as well when left to their own devices without contraception, etc. But apart from the fact that abortion is measurably natural and occurs all over the place, when resources are scarce, when the mother is afraid that her young are going to be attacked, sometimes she kills them, and this is a fact as well. It's connected. It's a similar instinct. In many species, it's absolutely true. You can look it up. Anyway, in answer to the question of whether or not abortion is ever acceptable, well, you're going to have to fight the animal kingdom on that. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I will say that individuals are not subject to group prosecution. Okay, this is an important connection and the logical truth. Individuals are not subject to group prosecution if you are calling it justice. Okay, so if the question is about what law is appropriate as far as allowing abortion or banning abortion, the question is being misread, because it's not a question of what is appropriate for everybody. That would be a form of group prosecution. So you have to take individuals at their individual circumstances, their possible exonerating circumstances, and weigh in all the facts, the context that is, and that is part of due process, right? While we have investigation, while we have an opportunity to go to court and to tell your side of the story, if in fact there is a suspicion of allegations towards criminal activity, right? So if you want to say that all abortion is illegal, okay, well, in that case, the woman has a right to a day in court. If you want to take it that far, then let the judge tell you on a case-by-case basis whether or not she actually had an excuse, because you cannot possibly legally predict what all the excuses might be for any particular criminal charge. So if you want to go in that direction, that's fine. If you want to just be reasonable and understand that either way she's going to have her freedom to choose, even if she ends up in a courtroom, maybe you can just understand that it's not going to be up to you. It's not going to be up to any centralized authority to, morally dictate what's proper and criminal or proper, innocent. I'm sorry, what's improper or criminal to everybody, because at the very least they're going to have a day in court, even if. So, in conclusion, I want to go on and on. In conclusion, you have to accept that there's no other logical possibility, no other enforceable possibility, unless you want to abolish the entire legal system, as to whether or not all women should go one way or the other with it, okay, which makes it pro-choice by default. The only alternative by elimination is pro-choice. So it's a legal fact that she's going to have a choice. If it's either in the hospital or in the courtroom, she's going to have a choice. Understand? So with that in mind, last thing I'll say about it is, since there's no way of avoiding freedom of choice for her body and her baby at some point, you might as well just mind your business, bro. Okay, her body is not your business, and this is a clue, right? So the fact that she's going to get a choice one way or another is a clue as to the propriety of you meddling in other people's business. If they're consenting or consentable, that's kind of the end of it. She has a God-given right and a legal right in this country to pursue happiness on her own terms if she chooses. So you have to uphold and respect that. It's not only the law, it's morally proper. So I guess my vote is that we reform the whole system so that people get a chance to prove their innocence before they are charged, because it's supposed to be an assumption. Let me rephrase that. Back to assuming that people are innocent before guilty, because we've gotten away from it. And the idea that pro-life or pro-choice is even a debate assumes that people can be found guilty before innocent, if you think about it. And they're not legally or reasonably. There's just no way to do that, and it's illegal. So reach out if you like with questions or comments to down below. Thank you.